What is up, my doom scrolling friends? We are now going over a warrior-esque Antiqurian. I'll show you the build in the planner. So for the anointments, Dreadnought, so all of these attacks cannot be dodged. Magma Diver for dealing splash damage, same as Massacre. March Towards Death from the Blood Mage, because I figured that this was the best interaction with the HP bonus. However, this one might need a little bit more testing, as I had a feeling that this isn't the correct one. Still, we might find out in a bit. And last but not least, Winter Solstice is to gain some defense bonuses over time. It's quite nice and fitting into this playstyle. So for the creatures, for a moment I thought this was too much of reviving mechanisms and HP bonuses. However, it turned out to be quite nice. So the first two creatures are bringing in some utility and reviving mechanisms, same as the fourth and the sixth one. The Valkyrie Scout will chip in some bonus damage, which after some testing was kind of nice, and the play with the improbable catapult was a little bit of a lucky find, which turned out to be kind of okay, I guess. And last but not least, the Onigarashi purely for killing enemies and efficiency. So the entire build is focusing mainly on a Warlord kind of style, and everything is kind of fitting, being bulky, being sturdy, while creating an absolute meat grinder with the one and only relic that gets bred via the Antiqurian perks. Now we can take a short look at the relic. Hanti and Jihi. This one will get quite beneficial while provoking. After the bearer is attacked, this relic attacks the enemy, so it's all about the counter attacks. After the bearer provokes, all enemies attack it. This one is also quite important long term. This is one of the main mechanics. Same as after the bearer is attacked while it is provoking, it gains 10% maximum health, and this one will get quite insane long term. A little bit of bonus defense, and the relic is of course attacking 2 additional times at rank 50. At rank 60 it gets some healing, which is also kind of important. Then the bearer will take less damage from attacks, however spell damage and indirect damage stays the same. So while the bearer is provoking, this relic will always deal critical damage. Quite nice. So on rank 90 it is after the bearer is attacked 3 times in one turn. This relic casts 5 additional arrow spells. However, this was a little bit too much to implement. Like, I would also have to care about some intelligence bonuses, and I wasn't really caring about this one. And on rank 100 it's quite nice. This relic and its bearer will deal additional damage equal to 10% of the damage the bearer has received from attacks in the current battle. Now the perk from the Antiqurian that is pretty important and was now the perk from the Antiqurian that was one of the main idea is Last of the Ancients. So at the start of battle, if only one of your creatures has a relic equipped, your other creatures equip a copy of that relic as well. And this one you cannot learn this as an anointment, because after all you might create way too insane scenarios with this one. So for the artifacts, nothing too crazy. It's basically health and defense on all the defense creatures and attack bonuses on all attacking ones. So most of the spell slots have Aftermath, which does caster attacks random enemies once for each turn the caster has taken in the current battle, maximum of 10 attacks. Now there might be objectively better spells, however this one is really fitting into this Warlord kind of esque playstyle. And in the end for this one, the battle's lasting quite long, so it makes sense. So for the stones, nothing too crazy. I still have to figure out a way to show them in the planner, which got updated, so it can also now show the stones nowadays. So this build is capable of doing game difficulty 5 builds. However, for this video, I just want to go for Gate of the Gods. I've done some fights, but nothing too crazy. Let's go with Arimaki. Ariamaki, I should say. Of course, we are not unkillable. We have a second chance via reform. And hopefully this one revive is enough. Okay, quite nice. I should set this one on defense, actually. That was a pretty clear win. I take that. This might take a very long while. If it's even possible. Okay, this was already quite some high damage on Azrael. Okay, wasn't expecting that one. Well, for this one, we have one revive, but that's about it. So hopefully Onigarashi does her job well and quickly. Yep, she does. Let's put this one on defense. And maybe this one. Guess provoking is too important. Frighten, not possible right now. Generous, maybe, I guess. That's the first death on Garashi. Maybe she takes care. Yep, she does. Pretty nice. Only requirement for her is to kill one enemy to trigger anticipation. Antiqurian has a little bit too high requirement for now. This one, Not so sure, but we can try. Easier than I thought. Okay, let's try. I'm gonna add it to the end of the fight, I guess. There we go. Took quite a bit. This also may take quite a bit of turns. I guess I'm gonna add it to the end if at all of the fights that take too long. Alright, it might happen. Might happen any moment. This was quite some minutes. However, win is win. This might also take a while. Loads. Okay, never mind. I don't think Muse is possible. She has way too much nuking power. Perdition sounds also quite risky. Very nice. So I guess we go to the second page, as I don't feel like there is a good chance to beat these. This one would require Master Spell. Don't have that right now, so let's go to the spell casting one. So I had to edit out Chimera as the fight was lasting way too long. However, let's go to the next one. To rune, absolutely not possible, I guess. We would revive after the first initial kill, but even after that, I don't think it's possible. Hopefully this one goes a little bit faster. Alright, another win, I guess. Still, I'm kind of surprised how long these fights are taking all of a sudden. First few ones at the gates were somewhat quicker. However, if I remember correctly, with this build I am at 100% win rate at the gates of the gods, so I won't complain. Okay, let's say this was the final one. I might even do the rest after the recording. However, the crazy win rate might be due to the fact that my relic stuff is pretty high ranked. Not everything, but lots of stuff. And the Antiqurian itself will increase this even further. So this might be the reason why I was barely taking any damage. And by the way, this is the Oronigurashi I was using for the very first time. This one even has plus 15 attack scrolls. Pummel in its artifact slot. Wait. So her embrace, she will also deal 150% more damage and 100% crit chance. Anticipation, of course, when enemies are killed. She goes on rampage. Pummel, plus 200 additional critical strike damage. And on the stone is almost easy, so if she has attacked once, all attacks will deal 200 more damage. Percent more damage, I should say. That's the good stuff. Alright, so that's about it. I haven't really thought about what the next few uploads will be, but I guess I might do some tower defense stuff. We'll see. Thanks for watching, I'm out, see ya in the future.